it was during the rehabilitation when they first sought my help, mainly to ensure that they would get a fair chance to have their rehabilitation proposal seriously considered by the insurance commissioner. Some significant developments have taken place since the events I described. Last September 19, PPI was placed under receivership. On October 19, by directive of the insurance commissioner, PPI was ordered to be liquidated. Nevertheless, the company filed a petition for review against the order of liquidation, so it looks like the issue of rehabilitation is still in play. What is our concern here as members of Congress? We enacted the pre-need code, yet it seems that the law has been unable to stave off the demise of one pre-need firm after another. There are 30 other companies under conservatorship approaching the situation in which PPI now finds itself. Hundreds of thousands of plan holders are involved. It is for their benefit that we now undertake this inquiry. I would like to focus on three questions. First, are our regulatory mechanisms, such as they are now, sufficient to provide for the supervision of pre-need firms? Are the safeguards in the law working? With so many pre-need firms in financial trouble, has the law been so far effective at protecting the plan holders? To hone in on the subject of this inquiry, what were the relevant factors in the financial decline of Prudential Life that could have been prevented or corrected by a sound law on that matter? Second, how inclusive and transparent was the process of rehabilitation? Were the concerns and inputs of the plan holders taken into consideration? Put in another way, where do the plan holders stand in relation to the insurance commissioner and his appointed conservator, receiver, and liquidator? Do these later named individuals act for the plan holders in something of a trust capacity? Or are the interests of government confined solely to the regulation of pre-need firms and not the protection of plan holders? Please understand, this is not an endeavor to assign blame. We are not here to point fingers. We are here to study this case so that we can improve the law and make the situation easier for plan holders of the 30 other firms under conservatorship. When I invited the Prudential Life plan holders to this hearing, I intimated that the inquiry may not benefit them as much as it will the plan holders in succeeding cases. So they understand that their participation is out of a sense of community with other individuals who find themselves in the same boat, and I thank them now for their generosity. We are also here to assist the Insurance Commission. If you remember, jurisdiction over the pre-need firms was transferred to the Insurance Commission very recently with the enactment of Republic Act 9829. But by that time, these companies were already in trouble. We are fully aware here in Congress of the difficulty of taking over the regulation of these firms. And so far as the IC or Insurance Commission is concerned, what I would like to come out of this hearing is a clear picture of how we can help develop the law to help the Commission along with its particular work. For instance, are its powers under the law sufficient for the job of regulation? What difficulties, if any, did the Commission experience with the transition of the pre-need firms to its jurisdiction? Most important of all, we are here for the plan holders. Not because of their number, although that is very large indeed, but because it is their dreams, their plans, their futures that are at stake. We are here for those who dutifully set aside college money for their children, those who eke out savings for a pension plan. It is incumbent upon us to make sure the investment they have made does not come to naught. I thank my colleagues in the committee and the Honorable Chair for this opportunity. It is my hope that we can all work together and get to the bottom of this as such in order that we may make the situation better for the stakeholders in this case as well as those in succeeding ones. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair.
questions have been raised by the author, so let's begin with Insurance Commissioner. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm the Deputy Commissioner. Your Honor, incidentally, our Commissioner has another appointment. That's why he's sending his apologies that he will be unable to join us this morning. The Insurance Commission welcomes...
I would just like to ask, were they invited just a few days before, or were they invited long time ago because the Insurance Commissioner could not come? So was his appointment now more important than this congressional investigation? So I would like to know.
Invitation.
My suggestion, Mr. Chair, that next time we will only do it if the commissioner is himself, because the letter here, most of what is included here in the report of the Honorable Eric Tanyana involves the Insurance Commissioner himself, not the OIC or not the deputy. So my suggestion is that next time she should come, otherwise I will move for the termination of the committee hearing.
In the meantime, are you suggesting that we forego testimony of the Insurance Commissioner representative? Then we will just go to the liquidator.
No, with what we have, but I know that there will be a second meeting, and we will not go on the second meeting unless the Insurance Commissioner is around. Because this is a very important congressional investigation, and I am surprised why he is not around.
I propose that we ask the Deputy Commissioner whether she is authorized to speak for the OIC.
If he is authorized, then I would like to have his written authority that he is authorized to speak for the Insurance
Yes,
Commissioner.
Madam Jo, are you authorized?
The instruction, Your Honor, was verbally made to me yesterday morning. So I have no written authority coming from our Commissioner.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question to the Deputy Commissioner? Madam, does the commission work in bank or only through the chairperson?
Your Honor, there is only one Commissioner and one Deputy.
Yes, but decisions made by the commissioner, is it in consonance with a consultation made with the deputy commissioners or just he himself?
There is a special committee that he created for this PPI case, Your Honor.
Do you sit in that committee?
Sometimes when I'm around, I do sit in the committee.
Are you aware of all the developments with regard to the PPI case?
Not really, Your Honor, but I have here with me also the head of those taking charge of suspended companies and the one in charge of the actuarial aspect of the PPI case.
Mr. Chair, as Congressman Pichai mentioned earlier, maybe in the next hearing we would have to make sure that the commissioner is present, because if there will be questions that the deputy commissioner may not be able to answer, it will leave the hearing hanging. So it is important at this point that the deputy commissioner assures us the presence of the commissioner in the next hearing.
Madam Jo?
Yes, Your Honors. In fact, he committed that he will be present the next time around, that there will be another hearing like this.
Please tell him
Yes,
not
Your
to force me to issue subpoena and subpoena justice take on, because once he disagrees with that, I mean, he will not honor it. We will be constrained to declare him in contempt and detain him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so any question now on the Deputy Commissioner? I think there is a pending question coming from the author of the resolution.
Well, Madam, maybe you can proceed with what the Commission has got into the situation of Prudential Life, so that the members of the committee may be apprised and we can ask our questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, I will make some statements and my colleagues will continue from there. The Insurance Commission would like to make the assurance that in all its decisions and strategic decisions, it has been cognizant of its duty of protecting the interest of the plan holders. Its primary objective has always been to give back to the plan holders the best value possible for their investments. The ultimate benefit to the plan holder is the overriding consideration. Yesterday, November 19, 2012, the liquidator appointed by the Insurance Commission, SIMEX, who are present here, submitted their liquidation plan. This will be reviewed by the technical committee created for the purpose. It has until the end of the month to submit its recommendation as to whether it will be approved in toto or be modified. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Maybe, Madam Chair, you can give a chronology of events that transpired for the benefit of the members of the House. And I am sure that they're interested because there are members, they're employees of the House of Representatives who are also plan holders of Prudential Life. And I was informed also earlier that one of our colleagues, if I'm not mistaken, Congressman Aquino, is also a plan holder. So there is a little interest in this case. So we would like to find out the whole chronology of events, how much supposedly is involved here, how many plan holders, are all plan holders notified, what are the options available. You have to also explain to us why the Commission did not accept any of the proposed rehabilitation plans, whether it comes from Prudential Life, whether it comes from the plan holders, or any other interested company. You have to explain that to us clearly so that we would know how Congress will act. As I also mentioned earlier, what is the weakness that you see in the pre-need code that the House had passed? We know for a fact that Prudential Life is the first one that would be affected by the law. So we have to find out, based on your experience also, what needs to be done in order to remedy whatever weaknesses there is in the law. Please proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I have here a copy, I think this was furnished by the Secretariat, a copy of a letter addressed to the Commissioner, Insurance Commission, Deputy Commissioner, Insurance Commission, and Mr. John Apakan, Head Conservatorship, Preservership, and Liquidation Division of the Insurance Commission, signed by Mr. Rolando Ocampo, spokesperson, Prudential Life Warriors. I've gone over this in a cursory way, but I find some observations very relevant, and they beg to be answered. These are questions that beg to be answered. And since this group appears to be the most interested, because they are the supposed victims, perhaps we can give them an opportunity to present their side and then let the Insurance Commission respond. Yung complaint muna.
Well, maybe before we can ask the Prudential Life Warriors to speak, let's ask first the Insurance Commission on the procedure that they followed, and later on, because I'm sure, like I mentioned, Prudential Life Warriors submitted their rehabilitation proposal. The same goes with Prudential Life. We would of course want to find out the basis of not why the Insurance Commission decided not to accept any at all So I think the ball is first with the Insurance Commission so that everybody will understand the procedure that was followed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So it may be recalled that in 2010, the Insurance Commission took over the regulation of trading companies by virtue of enactment of the trading code. When the Insurance Commission took over, the PPI has no more license because the license has already been suspended by SEC as early as April 2009. We conducted an examination of PPI and we found out that indeed the company was insolvent. It has a significant deficiency in its trust funds and its capital also. It has a huge capital issue. So in September...
Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, maybe the Deputy Commissioner can give us figures and not just mention broad statements that they were insolvent. What are we talking about here?
The deficiency in trust funds actually now amounts to 15 billion pesos. Currently, it has only trust funds amounting to 7 billion pesos. The impairment in capital amounts to 12 billion, 12.5 billion. So all in all, the total deficiency of the company is at 28 billion approximately. The company has a total of about 300,000 plan holders. So that as I was saying, in September of 2010, we appointed a conservator for PPI. Yes, it was in December 2011 that PPI filed a proposal for corporate rehabilitation, and this was taken into account by the Insurance Commission, and later I will ask my colleague to discuss their findings on this rehabilitation proposal. Fast forward, in September 2012, the Insurance Commission issued the directive to place the company under receivership. But before that, the assigned or appointed conservator issued a stay order so that payments for the plan holders, claimants, will be discontinued, in the sense that if they discontinue paying the claimants, then it would find itself in a situation where the other claimants would have nothing to claim from the insurance from the credit company. So up to now, there is no payment made because actually the company is now under liquidation. It was in October 19, 2012 that finally the Insurance Commission issued a directive for the company to be placed under liquidation. In the meantime, yes, there were submissions for the rehabilitation of the company, and may I turn over with your permission to my colleague their findings on the various submissions of those who are interested to rehabilitate the company.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Before we turn over to the explanation why the different rehab proposals were denied, who chooses the conservator?
It's the Insurance Commission, Your Honor.
Is that exclusively under his jurisdiction, or does the law allow consultations with the stakeholders?
There is no consultation with stakeholders. It's a decision or discretion of the Insurance Commission.
Is there exactly certain parameters that the conservator can do and not do?
Yes, Your Honor, it's found in the credit code, the duties and functions of the conservator.
And then, does the conservator work pro bono, or is he given a specific per diem or allowance?
The conservator receives payment from the company being conserved.
Okay. And who determines the amount? Or is there a limit to the amount that he's supposed to receive? And at the same time, in the process of conservatorship, the amount of expenses that he's supposed to shoulder?
The Insurance Commission determines the payment that will be made to the conservator depending on the magnitude of work that has to be done and the magnitude of the assets
For the
and the
benefit,
evidences that the company still have.
for the benefit of this committee and for the people who are affected, how much was paid to the conservator?
The conservator was paid 14,000 a month, Your Honor.
1440.
40.
40 a month. And with regard to expenses allowable,
The expenses are being submitted to the Insurance Commission for our clearance, whether it should be reimbursed or not.
and how long did the conservator work?
The conservator has been there since September of 2010, and I think in September also of 2012,
And
her services was terminated.
And in the 2 years that the conservator assumed his function, how much expenses did he incur?
Sorry, Your Honor, I don't have the actual figure, but I think my colleague has the figure.
Yes, anyone from the Insurance Commission?
As far as our records are concerned, we only paid 40,000 per month for her.
No other expenses?
We allowed some actual expenses, but it was only submitted to the company for reimbursement. But we don't know how much was that amount because there was no prior approval that was submitted to us. So we don't have, per our record, we don't have such expenses, only the 40,000 per month.
We'll get to that later. Can you, for the record, state the name of the conservator?
Our first conservator was Attorney Rosario Bernardo.
Why do you say first? Was there any other conservator that was appointed?
Recently, we decided to also appoint a co-conservator to focus on the corporate assets of the company. Because there are two types of assets of the company. There is the trust fund asset and there is the corporate assets. So we feel that the corporate assets need special attention. So we decided to also appoint another conservator.
I will yield first. I think Congressman Pichay is interested in asking questions. I don't like to dominate the hearing. Congressman Pichay,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I would just like to ask that regarding the conservators that you are saying. So you said that the liability is around how much? 15 billion? 21.6. I mean, that is if how much current? How much is, because this is pre-net, so every year you have some liabilities. How much current, and then how much up to, and then when will it end?
I ask my colleague to answer, Your Honor.
Your Honor, there are three kinds of plans, pension, education, and life plans. So I just state the assets and reserves requirement for this, each of these plans. For pension plan, the reserves required as of June 30 this year is 8.6 billion. The trust fund requirement is 3.2 billion. So therefore, there is a trust fund deficiency of 5.3 billion. For education plan, the reserve required is 9.7 billion. The trust fund balance is 1.19 billion, and therefore there is a trust fund deficiency of 8.57 billion. For life plan or memorial plan, the reserves requirement is 2.8 billion. The trust fund balance is 2.89 billion, there is no deficiency, but there is an excess of 72 million. However, there is also an insurance premium reserves requirement of 582 million, but the trust fund for this insurance premium is only 21.6 million. So therefore, there is also a deficiency of 560 million.
As of present, in other words,
As of June.
you don't have to go to, because like for example, scholarship, it has to go. Every year you have some liabilities that you're going to incur. Becomes current. That's why I'm asking, how much is the current right away, and then how much is the future?
For current, sir,
Those that you have defaulted in 2010 or 2011, if you have defaulted, but then if you have not yet defaulted, then the current will be 2012 or 2011.
Yes, sir. We may ask our actuarial division, sir, to answer that question.
Good morning. With the figures mentioned by our Janapatan concerning the training reserves, the amount would correspond to the future liabilities of the company. Meaning, if that amount will mature, let's say in 5 to 10 years, that amount would still grow until that maturity date. Meaning, the asset of the trust fund that is backing up the payment reserve or the liability of the company must at least equal the payment reserve. It should not go lower than that. Otherwise, the company would not be in a position to answer for the contractual liabilities of the
I'm not
company.
asking you to lecture me about trust fund. I know what is trust fund all about. That's why if you are when you review the actuarial valuation that they have, I know that they have also actuarial valuation, but based on the record here, you have your actuarial valuation in 2010, right? So how come was it in the actuarial valuation, was that already included that they have to give tax-free, interest-free loans? Is that part of the actuarial valuation? Now, when you discover that, why did you not already do something about it? Because the actuarial valuation, you have to look at all the assets, then actuarially how many students will study in this school, how many will die around this year, because that is how it is scientifically done when you make your actual study. And you also determine how much asset will the trust fund has. So your trust fund may be invested in long term because what your liability is also long term. That's why you have an asset in the Visayas that has only book value of this much, but it has already market value of 10 billion according to SGV. So that's why what I'm asking, because the book value, because this is future, the book value might be small, but the market value or the appraised value is high. But you're saying that's why I'm asking how much the current deficit, because if you're going to sell what you have at 10 billion, then perhaps it could temporarily or in the next 5-6 years, it could do that, because when you make up but you have some assumption. That's why it's not only how much you have in the trust fund, but you have also to determine. You could not compare it on the actual valuation of the trust fund, because normally that's historical, and that is supposed to be the book value. We are also interested how much the appraised value or how much the market value. Just like your liability also in the future, you also determine, calculate it that way. So tinanong kita, yung interest rate ba ng 300 million, 400 million, kasama ba yan? Because this is new to me that there are a lot of companies na yung company nyo nagbibigay sa mga subsidiary or related companies, walang interest na binabayad. Now, that is already a gross violation of that calculation that you have. And then number two, mayroon kayong conservator sa prudential bank. Do you have also conservator on the controlled corporation that they have? Baka yung asset nawawala rin doon? So that's the question I'm asking, Your Honor.
Please answer.
Yung pag-establish po ng deficiency, na-consider na po yung market value ng mga assets sa trust funds. Kaya yung sinasabi po namin value, that is already considering the market value ng mga assets po ng trust funds.
I asked how much is your liability. I didn't say how much is the deficit. I'm asking for how much is the current liability, how much is the future liability. That's why that's the question that I was asking. I'm not saying how much is the deficit, because what you are talking already is the deficit. So, that is an actuarial valuation. That's why I asked how much is the current liability. It could be 20 billion, it could be how much the current, then how much the future. Kasi, if I'm the one covered by your life insurance, pagka ipaino na wala, baka mapaaga o mamamatay. So, mali na kagad yung actuarial valuation nyo.
Well, first, the trading plans are not insurance, no? So there is no like contingency involved, no, or rate of mortality in the computation of reserves for trading plans. These are merely contingent on the interest rate assumed, no, by the company. When
if you have a retirement plan, we also calculate people when they retire, because you're saying including the death of the people there. So if it's not included there, then that's new to me.
well, the
Yung
retirement,
lifespan of the people, it's also included, because if you die before your plan ends, you have to pay.
What if the beneficiaries die before they reach college age? Talaga
Yes.
namang windfall to the company yun.
when under the payment plans, the benefits are payable regardless of what happens to the plan holder. For instance, if you are a plan holder, you will receive the amounts promised, no, on the scheduled benefit dates, regardless whether the plan holder is alive or not. In insurance, the beneficiary normally receives the benefits in the event of death of the insured, or if the insured survives to the maturity date, the insured will receive the proceeds of the maturity. Unlike in payment plan, the maturities or the benefits promised are payable on the scheduled benefit dates, regardless whether the insured or the plan holder survives or not. Okay, I will answer the question on the required reserves. Now, based on the data that we have here on today's life plans, as mentioned by Attorney Jan Apatan, as of June 30, the company has about 21 billion reserves requirement. And June 30, 2012. And the assets or trust funds backing up these required reserves amounts only to about 7 billion. So, okay.
You have receivables also from the 300,000 holders. Because did you assume that they are already all your liabilities in the plan holder, that you still have some receivables? Because every year, every month, they're also paying. Is that also considered in the trust fund?
Yes, because in the computation of reserves, you have to compute the future benefits, present value of future benefits, minus the present value of the future contributions of future installments. So, my answer is yes, that is being taken into account in the computation of reserves. Yes. So, it's very clear here that the company is about a trust fund deficiency of about 20, about 80, about 13 to 14 billion estimate. 14 billion trust fund deficiency, meaning the asset or trust fund that is supposed to back up the reserves is not enough.
The total asset of prudential.
Yes.
So may I ask the liquidator, because you're already trying to convert capital assets to cash. So what is your estimate? Is the total asset of the company? Because what I hear is liquidator. So in other words, there's already dissolution that it would close, and you are now trying to convert the asset into cash. So is the cash or the estimated cash received, would it be more than enough or less than what is the liability that they have considered?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Definitely, Your Honor, the assets that the company has, both the trust fund assets and the corporate assets, will really not be enough to compensate for the liabilities that have been recorded. And that's why that is already an assumed principle in liquidation that unfortunately the stakeholders will not get the full amount of the reserves that are set aside for them because of the insolvency of the company. Yet today we just have made a proposed liquidation plan. If you base it on the current values po, there will be the deficiency or the amount that will not be able to be returned to the plan holders is quite large. But if we do a phased liquidation, which is what we are proposing, meaning that we will be able to sell off the real properties, for example, the shares of stock over a period of time, then we will still have a chance to grow the assets more and recover some of the losses that the landholders have experienced.
It's also part of the actuarial valuation that the value, if we will have it converted into cash, if you are going to sell the property 3 years from now, it would increase. So is that taken into consideration? Because you're saying if they will be sold in the future, the asset might be enough to cover up.
Well, we are working po with the actuarial division of the IC, and we have also gotten our own actuarial expert in order to help us with these projections and forecasts. And while we have not yet, since the liquidation phase has only been around for a month, and all these projections are yet to be made when we sit down with the technical group on Wednesday, regarding how long it will take to actually minimize the losses that the plan holders will have experienced, given the present assets that we have.
The present value, if you're going to postpone it, the loss is still the same. Because you're delaying the payment, although you get more, but the value, the money you're supposed to refund has also a value of interest. That's why I'm saying, if you calculate it to the present value, are you willing to give them also with interest?
Well, yes, Your Honor. We are supposed to impute a certain amount of interest in the distributions that the plan holders will be getting over a certain period of time. Again, all of these amounts are still up for discussion, but we are trying our best to make our first distribution by January, so that at least the liquid assets that are found in the trust fund can already reach the plan holders based on the liquidation settlement values that have yet to be computed.
Really beyond redemption, because they're already finalizing on the liquidation. Am I right? It's already finalized that it should be liquidated.
Yes, Your Honor, we are
The
just...
company is already dead.
Yes, Your Honor, for us. We are just following the orders of the
It's
IC.
already dead. It's already liquidated.
We are starting the process of
The
liquidation.
dissolution has already been approved. But before you liquidate, there's a dissolution by the board. By the company.
We have not yet dissolved the company through the SEC. What we are doing, or we are in the process of liquidating the assets and
So
converting
how could you
them to cash.
liquidate if the asset is still alive? How could you buy somebody if still legally alive? So you have first have to have dissolution and then after that liquidation. So if the company is still alive, how could you do it?
Your Honor, we are following what the pre-need code and the IRR have said. We are appointed by the IC and under their instructions and directions. Our power is to take charge of the company assets and the trust funds, Your Honor, and convert them to cash and fix the distribution. That is the meaning of liquidation within that parameter. If we are to close completely the entity later on and have it dissolved with the SEC and liquidate it under the corporation code, then that will be another matter, Your Honor.
My understanding, Your Honor, is that you cannot liquidate unless there's dissolution of the company.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will liquidate until you make dissolution. I don't think that that is the proper step in closing a company.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a special law.
Mr. Chair. Just going back, how many rehab plans did different interested parties submit to the Insurance Commission?
There are 5 proposals submitted to the Insurance Commission, Your Honor.
Can you identify the names of the 5 who submitted the 5 proposals?
These are the MP Life, partnering with Prudential Life, Loyola Life Plans, Hill Plans, Destiny Plans, and those of the Batidas Group, the plan holders.
Okay, can you now please explain why the Insurance Commission found all 5 plans insufficient in their proposals?
Yes, Your Honor. The major consideration is that of all the proposals, there was never an infusion plan submitted to us. There was no infusion of substantial capital to cover during a specific period of time the deficiencies of the company. That's number one. And corollary to this, Your Honors, we are afraid that if we give them license and to offer again plans to the public, that will result to the so-called intergenerational subsidy, wherein the new plan holders will indirectly pay for the benefits of the old or existing plan holders. So we want to avoid that situation. That's why we really wanted to have this major infusion coming from these proponents.
I'd like to find out, on your study of the 5 plans, because you mentioned no plan submitted any proposal with regard to infusing new capital. But be that as it may, do you have a specific matrix on how or what benefit a plan holder may bring home based on the 5 different plans?
Your Honor, our ideal situation is that the company must be rehabilitated so that we can give them the full benefits promised by the plans. However, because of this deficient capital and trust fund deficiencies, we are only targeting how to optimize the value that we can give them.
Yes.
So that's why in issuing our order or our directive, we also included under the ambit of this order the corporate assets of the company, including its subsidiaries. So the figures that we have given you earlier were only under the trust fund ambit. So in order to optimize or add some other value to these trust fund assets, we are also taking into account these corporate assets and the subsidiaries of the company para kung may dagdag ko natin dito sa gusto natin maibalik sa mga plan holders.
Yes, that is the point. I will not argue with you with regard to the need for infusion of capital. But again, based on the 5 plans that were offered to you, is there a specific value that the plan holder will get for their specific plan? Let's say, Prudential Life had with Manila Bank, ito yung plano nila, ito yung output, ito yung matatanggap ng plan holder kung tatanggapin natin. Ito yung mga Prudential Life Warrior, ito yung plano nila, ito yung sinasabi nila matatanggap ng plan holder. Ito yung isang kumpanya, no? Para makita rin ng committee, ano yung naging basis ninyo, maliban lang sa infusion of capital. Dahil kailangan natin makita. At the end of the day, ihaharap rin po naman natin yan sa proposal ng liquidator. Eh baka mamaya, yung proposal ng liquidator, mas masama pa sa 5 plano na hinarap sa inyo. Eh paano natin gagawin ngayon yan? Pangalawa, ano ngayon yung kaso na final ng Prudential Life sa Court of Appeals? What if that case is considered live, and it is live, and their appeal is granted by the court? How will now that affect the liquidators? That is my question.
For the first question, Your Honor, since there is a deficiency, our instructions is that all of these assets must be given to the plan holders. So it would really depend on the existing assets, how much we can give the plan holders.
Yes, but I'm sure you reviewed all 5 plans to make your basis clearer. Why are we not accepting, for example, the Warriors plan? Dahil ang balik sa mga plan holders ay ganito lamang. Why are we not accepting Prudential Life Manila Bank plan? Dahil ang balik lang sa sa plan holders, ganito lang. Ang hindi pwedeng, hindi, gamitin na lang natin dahil wala naman nagsabi ng infusion of new capital, yun na lang ang gamitin nating rason. Mahirap yun dahil ang pinag-uusapan nga natin, pawis ng mga tao ito. Ngayon, ang tanong, no, paano kung ang liquidators na in-appoint ninyo, kasi nililiquidate nga nila, mas mababa pa yung makukuha ng plan holders kaysa yung mga plano na. So, may study bang ganon o wala?
Actually, all of the 5 proposals submitted to the Insurance Commission are more of liquidation rather than rehabilitation. May I continue? We mentioned
that is the point eh.
Yes.
All are liquidation. So, ano yung mas maganda?
Yes.
Yan ang hinihingi nga natin.
Yes. Actually, the plan of the evaluation team of the Insurance Commission, together with the liquidator, is to compare the best among the 5 with the liquidation value that will be determined by the Insurance Commission. So of the 5, we have to compare that. The best among the 5, that will give the best liquidation value will have to be compared with the liquidation value that will be determined by the Insurance Commission, together with the liquidator.
Yes, but
Now, if we talk of rehabilitation, under the code, we have to restore the viability or solvency of the plaintiff company. And none of these 5 proposals satisfies that condition because all of them pertains to liquidation. In fact, one of the proposals will just return the contract price, meaning the total amounts to be paid under the plaintiff plan after 7 to 15 years from the transfer date. So, we don't feel that that type of rehabilitation will satisfy the condition of restoring the viability or the solvency of the company. So we don't treat that as a liquidation, as a rehabilitation plan, but as a liquidation. Then the rest are similar. They will just return what have been paid by the plan holders. So we still treat them as liquidation.
I understand your answer, but still, maybe it would help the committee to understand where the insurance company is coming from, and later on maybe also study what the liquidators are going to present. Is what is the actual amounts that we're talking about based on the proposals, what the plan holders will take home. Because at the end of the day, we have to admit, everybody will have to, the plan holders will have to take a sacrifice here. What they're asking for is how much of the money that they invested will they be able to get back, if ever, knowing for a fact that continuing the plan might not really be viable at this point. But again, the different matrices would help everyone understand. Because right now, even the plan holders don't know what was the basis. You can't just tell them, wala naman nag-submit na proposal na mag-invest ng bagong kapital, so wala rin naman mangyayari. No? Pero what is the basis on choosing what would be the best for the plan holders? They should at least you should give them that you would say the reason why all these plans are not being accepted. Yes, Deputy Commissioner.
Your Honor, the proposals that we received, they were received during the time of the rehabilitation period. And as mentioned by my colleague, those proposals or those submissions were already considering a liquidation scenario. So that's the reason why there was really no concrete plan to be able to rehabilitate the company. Now, the company has been placed under liquidation. And together with all the 5 again that have been submitted, and the one being submitted by the liquidator, then we will again reconsider and find out what would which among those would give the plan holders the best value to their investment?
Everyone will ask Prudential Life, will ask the Warriors, will ask those who submitted the different rehab plans, no, in order to put it on record. Maybe we can start off with the company Prudential Life. If they have any statements.
Your Honor, we at Prudential Life believe that rehabilitation is still much better than liquidation. For this reason, we filed with the Court of Appeals a petition for review. We exercise our rights under the law, and that right now the petition is still pending with the Court of Appeals. As you mentioned, when we were comparing the different proposals, we still believe that our proposal is still the best among the five, and that because of that, we decided to go to the Court of Appeals for a petition.
Yes, when you rehabilitate, there must be a cash infusion. Are you willing to do that?
Sir, we wanted, well, I think on record, we could say that during the meetings with the IC, we were open to infusion so long as they will be given some breaks. We will be given some breaks. This is similar to the banks, for example. When you want a white knight to come in, then definitely you have to put some sweeteners to get new investors in. We've been talking to some investors, but like I said, if they won't give a break to the company, then definitely they don't want just to put in the capital.
What breaks are you talking about?
Well, relief for the old plans that we've sold, sir, Your Honor. We believe that a restructuring of these obligations is needed to attract new investors, Your Honor.
Anyway, what is the status of the case in the Court of Appeals?
Your Honor, it's still pending with the Court of Appeals.
Okay. So, yes, sir.
Just clarification, because maybe for my education, we're talking here of liquidation and rehabilitation. Now, is liquidation considered rehabilitation? Because my understanding is that these are two mutually exclusive things. If you liquidate, you do not rehabilitate. If you rehabilitate, well, maybe you can liquidate some of the assets, but not all of the assets. Otherwise, that will become, that will not anymore be a going concern, because if you're rehabilitating, you preserve the going concern status of the entity. Is that correct, Mr. Chairman? That we cannot have both unless we're talking of partial liquidation of certain assets that, if liquidated, will help in revitalizing, because that will, instead of, let's say, land, it will become cash, and that cash will help in making the company more viable. So what are we talking about here now?
Liquidation or rehabilitation?
Your Honor, in our case, it's a rehabilitation because in our proposal, we would like to continue servicing the life plan. And that by servicing the life plan,
Maybe know who is
Maybe you should introduce yourself.
sorry, Your Honor. I'm Mr. Albert Alba, President of Prudential Life Plans.
speaking for the company.
Yes, Your Honor. In the proposal of Prudential Life, the proposal is a restructuring of the obligations for the pension education plan, but the continuation of the life plan business, in which case the company will continue as an ongoing concern, servicing the life plan.
Now, my question is this. Who authorized the liquidators? PPI, what's PPI? I'm sorry. The liquidator. Who authorized the liquidator? Because they're talking about liquidating. Who authorized them to liquidate? There's already an order for liquidation.
Your Honor, the Insurance Commission ordered the liquidation of the company. Actually, the period for possible rehabilitation is already ended.
Now, if that is the case, how come you're still talking of rehabilitation?
It's PPI.
As I said, my understanding is that these are two mutually exclusive activities.
It's PPI that is talking about possible rehabilitation because they have submitted a petition in court. But as far as the Insurance Commission is concerned, the period for possible rehab has ended, and that's the reason why it's now.
But is there a TRO on the liquidation? As a result of the court action taken by PPI?
Wala pa po.
So that is just a scrap of paper as far as you are concerned. So the liquidation continues. Now my next question on the liquidation, Mr. Chairman, is on the liquidation, who is guiding you on the valuation of the assets?
Your Honor, we're being guided by the Insurance Commission, their actuarial team, of course the trust banks, and then as for the corporate assets.
The actuarial team is for if you're going into the future. But I'm talking of liquidation now. I'm talking of appraisal of the assets.
Yes, the trustee banks.
That is not an actuarial activity.
Yes, the trustee banks are the ones in charge of the valuation of the assets that they hold. So they hold real properties. Well, these are at least the non-liquid assets, real properties and unlisted shares of stock. Now, as for the corporate assets, which are mostly comprised of unlisted shares of stock, their stock holdings in subsidiaries, and also some real properties, we are going to, and we haven't done this just yet, we are going to subject them to an updated appraisal.
Mr. Chairman, when it comes to stocks, for example, if these are publicly listed stocks, there are market prices, no? So there's no problem. There's no problem there. If we're talking of cash or whatever liquid assets, then there's no problem with respect to valuation. But if we're talking of real assets, land, then there will be a problem there. And I think we have to protect the interest of the beneficiaries, the plan holders, in case of liquidation, is to maximize the value.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Now, are the owners authorized to buy the properties, or they're not authorized? They're prohibited. Are they prohibited from making a bid?
Your Honor, we have not yet set up the guidelines, and this is for the comfort of everyone. No properties of value, real estate properties, and shares of stock have been offered for sale yet, because we have to revalue all of these based on the latest appraisal reports.
In case, Mr. Chairman, they are offered for sale in a public, I presume this will be on a bidding basis, or for some chapters, maybe on auction basis. Are the PPI stockholders prohibited by law?
They are not prohibited by law, Your Honor, yes. Your Honor, if I may, we have a board of advisors which was just constituted by the Insurance Commission yesterday. This is like a new animal or a creation because of the unfortunate lack of guidelines under the Pre-Need Code and the IRR. In this board of advisors, we have seated 5 representatives of the plan holders. So they will be involved every step of the way, particularly when we formulate the guidelines for actually converting these assets to cash. So that is where we stand, Your Honor, at this point.
I'm just concerned, Mr. Chairman, because, like for example, if there are confiscated goods in customs, your customs, and then the consignees are allowed to make a bid also during the auction, then you can have a simulated auction where the consignee will eventually be able to buy the goods, the confiscated goods, and they suffer a little, but they make a profit in the end. I'm just concerned whether there is a law that will prohibit the owners of the affected company from bidding for the assets to be disposed of.
Your Honor, I think that this is really an important point that has to be taken under advisement. And since this meeting is really for the modification, amendment, and improvement of this law, then this is one of the things that we have to take note of. Because unfortunately, with respect to the liquidation process of a pre-need company at this point, such guidelines are not yet in place. So if this can be a jumping board or a springboard from which we come up with more stricter guidelines, more stringent rules, then we can...
Is this an existing activity rehabilitation is as old as I can remember. I remember in elementary school, meron ng board of liquidators.
Oh, well, I think we have that. There's a law. Yes, go ahead.
Even if you're going to put it there, just like in the customs, they're going to get some dummy to bid for that. So I don't know if you could do it. But the question I'm asking, you said that they have a lot of subsidiaries, right? Do they have control on the subsidiaries? In other words, do they own 50% or more?
They have a lot of subsidiaries in which they own almost 100%.
Are there some that they own less than 60%?
Yes, they also have.
So how will you liquidate it if the owner, I mean, if the major stockholder say we're not going to buy the stocks, or you could sell it outside, but normally not at the premium.
Yes, for
Otherwise, that's why that's the question I'm asking. Now, on the company itself, PPI, do you have subscription receivables from the owners or stockholders, or all that they have subscribed they've already fully paid?
Right now, they have subscribed under their stockholders' equity. It would seem that everything has been subscribed.
Subscribed, then is everything has been paid?
And paid, yes.
Subscribed and paid, no receivables.
No receivables.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Maybe we can ask now, we've asked Prudential Life, maybe we can ask person from the plan holders to speak. Okay, we'll ask Mr. Batiles and then later on Mr. Ocampo.
Your Honor, I'm J.R. Batiles. I am the proponent of the rehabilitation plan on behalf of the plan holders. Now, the reason why we did not accept the proposal, the original and even the revised proposal from Prudential Life, because we feel that it is not fair for us. We feel that we are being abandoned because we as pension and education plan holders, we are being transferred to another company which we are not even related to, which we didn't even...
Lumiba, tinanong ko po siya nung chance meeting namin sa Insurance Commission, if summoned by the Insurance Commission, will you come? Yes! He told me, and tanong ko nga po, at nabanggit ko din to kay Ma'am Bida. Si Ma'am Bida mukhang amenable, pero maybe the Insurance Commissioner